near my home and my family. What do you say?
Well, I say the time is now. I mean, this is no more, hey, it could miss us, hey, it could turn east, it could turn west. Either way, it is so huge, so enormous that the impact of this mother of a storm, coño, as we say in my district, it's going to impact everybody. And that's why the roads are so clogged up. People are heading out. And I understand people don't want to leave their homes. I had the opportunity to visit shelters yesterday. Miami-Dade is as ready as we can be.
So that you give confidence.
We've got everything working right.
So in what you've seen, we'll wait on the FEMA presser, obviously, and see what they're saying about the state of preparedness. But from the state level, the municipalities, the shelter, because, you know, they're talk, I can't get gas. The fares are too high. I can't get the flights. You know, so there have been criticisms and complaints. But how do you feel about the level of readiness?
Way more confident than I was in Hurricane Andrew 25 years ago. We went through that. I'm still living in the same house. And that was devastating, not only in the impact, but it was devastating in the slow response of our state and federal officials. They said, where's the cavalry? Bring them. Well, now that's not happening anymore. It's a seamless process. So whether we're going to all be great after this storm of this magnitude, of course, we can't predict that. But how much can you plan? We have done it. We've got everything functioning, and people are talking to one another. The first responders are ready. It's a shame what's happened in the Keys, an area I used to represent. Chris, people just did not evacuate from the Keys, and all the first responders have said, we are not going to be there to save you.
Well, they
people
can't.
Did not leave.
You know what I mean? You know, God love them. They have a willingness that is just almost unnatural or supernatural, that their desire to go out and help. But they say they can't go during the storm. It's too dangerous. What do we know about how many didn't go? What's the concern?
A lot did not go. But here in Miami Beach, it's also a mandatory evacuation, and we see everything boarded up. That's very good. But there's a reluctance. People don't want to leave their homes, and I understand that. But if you can, it is not too late. The shelters are open. 8 more are opening today. And I went to a pet-friendly one yesterday. Even if you have a dog or a cat, whatever you have, a parakeet, they'll take them. So Miami-Dade is as ready as you can be. But this is a monster of a hurricane.
All right, so we will see the most loaded words that we have in these kinds of situations. Let's go to what we already know, what we're seeing on the federal level. They're going to vote on the money for Harvey. Do you think that that's going to get done?
It is going to get done. There's bipartisan support. The Senate, I was there for the first tranche of it. But then the Senate, of course, added debt limit hike and other measures. It's going to pass in the House. I wrote an email to all of my colleagues in the Republican caucus because some of them are getting a little bit skittish.
Well, what about the fiscal hawks who say 3 months, there are not enough controls on the debt limit, we need more fiscal restraint, that you're tying it to things that they don't think should be tied to it? What do you make of those criticisms?
If you want to be a purist, then you have no place in Congress. You've got to be able to negotiate. You've got to be able to make compromises. It's not a perfect bill, but it's a great hurricane relief effort for Louisiana and for Texas.
Why attach anything?
That's the way because that's the way the business of government works. It's not what Speaker Ryan wanted. No, it's both. It is the reason of how things get done. In order to get people on board, you start to do that. You start to negotiate. I don't think it's a pretty process, but it is what it is. And as long as hurricane funding for FEMA, for SBA, for HUD gets reinstated, and then that'll be great. And I hope that our GOP comes through, and then we'll be begging and banging on their door, because Hurricane Irma is going to not just wallop Florida, it's going to follow up that eastern seaboard. So we're going to need a lot of help.
It's going to be substantial no matter where it comes ashore. The president has said he will be there. The federal government will be there. He seems to be reaching across the aisle. We know that DACA and immigration matters to you. I will come back to you on those issues when they manifest themselves in actual policy.
I'll be glad to do
and I will test where you are on it. Again, be safe. Thank you for being with us.
Let's see if you can test where president is on any given day on DACA.
That's what we do every day on this show. Allison, to you.
All right, Chris, thank you very much. Turning to Washington now. Donald Trump Jr. speaking to investigators on the Senate Judiciary Committee for hours yesterday about the ongoing Russia investigation. So what questions does Congress still have? Joining us now is Republican Congressman Will Hurd. He's a member of the House Intelligence Committee. And Congressman, as you can see, we have a split screen there because we are waiting at any moment to get a FEMA briefing on the direction and path and strength of Irma, so you'll forgive me if I have to break away from our interview.
No problem. Look, that's really important, being from Texas and realizing what Harvey did. This is important for the folks on the Eastern Seaboard to know and know what's going on.
So you get it completely. Thank you for that. Okay, so while we have time, let's talk about the latest in the ongoing Russia investigation. As you know, yesterday, Donald Trump Jr. went to Congress and he met with investigators there. He talked to the Judiciary Committee. We're still going to stand by because I don't see Brock Long yet. But in any event, he talked to the Judiciary Committee, and it appeared to raise some questions of some of the folks, including Senator Richard Blumenthal, who sat in on that, a Democrat. Here is a piece of the Don Jr. prepared statement. He said, "To the extent that they had information concerning the fitness, character, or qualifications of a presidential candidate, I believed that I should at least hear them out." He, of course, is talking about why he took the meeting with the Russians in Trump Tower. Hold up. Sorry. Give us a second, Congressman. There's Brock Long.
No problem.
Stand by.
U.S. state partners to achieve their response and recovery goals. Starting with the islands, the goal right now is to stabilize the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico to make sure that we are addressing all life safety and life-sustaining issues, and we're in really good position to help them do that. There's great communication with both governors in the island communities, and the objectives are very clear. Emergency power and restoring power, life-saving, life-sustaining commodities, emergency communications, and security. So those are the goals that we are currently supporting. And this is a massive effort. Because of the logistical nature of being able to access islands, we are very proud to have our partners with the Department of Defense. They've provided over 6 different Navy ships in the area that will be operating today to help us accomplish, or help our island partners accomplish their goals. Moving on, obviously, Hurricane Irma continues to be a threat that is going to devastate the United States and either Florida or some of the southeastern states. This is a complex forecast. Anybody from Alabama to North Carolina should be watching this storm very closely. The forecast and the direct impacts of this storm have yet to be determined because, one, it's a very powerful storm, but the nature of the curve in that forecast after 72 hours